Chapter 1. The night I was rejected *. The music was too loud, the lights too bright, and yet all I could hear was the thud of my own heartbeat. My palms were damp as I gripped the soda cup tighter than I needed to. I had been rehearsing the words in my head for weeks, but when Lila walked into the living room with that confident smile, everything I had prepared scattered like broken glass. "Aren't you going to say something?" I nudged me. "She's right there. This is your chance, man." I swallowed hard. What if she laughs? Then at least you'll stop torturing yourself. Better a clean cut than slow poison. Easy for him to say. He wasn't the one who'd been quietly in love with her for 2 years. I forced myself to stand, weaving through the crowd of dancing bodies, until I was right in front of her. "Hey," I said, my voice thinner than I intended. She turned, eyes sparkling under the colored lights. "Oh, it's you. Having fun?" "Not really." Too loud. I rubbed the back of my neck. "Can we talk outside?" Her brows arched slightly, but she followed me out to the porch. The night air was cool, a relief against my burning skin. For a moment, I thought maybe this could be the start of something. "Lila," I began, my throat dry. "I like you. I've liked you for a long time. I needed to tell you." Her smile froze. Then she let out a small laugh, the kind people use when they're trying not to hurt you. "Oh, you're sweet, but I can't." The words hit me like a slap. "You can't." "I'm into someone else," she said simply, shrugging as if it settled everything. My stomach twisted. "Who?" She leaned against the railing, her hair falling over her shoulder. "Rami, you know him, right? He's different, exciting. Different, exciting. Everything I wasn't." I nodded, trying to keep my voice steady. "Got it. Thanks for being honest." She tilted her head, studying me with that sane, careless charm. Then she added, almost casually, "But hey, if it doesn't work out, you'll always be my backup. You don't mind, right?" I blinked. "Backup?" "Yeah. Someone safe, reliable." She gave me a pat on the shoulder like I was some kind of spare tire. "It's kind of nice knowing you'll always be there." The porch seemed to tilt under me. My heart felt like it was being wrung out. I forced a weak smile, because what else could I do? "Right, of course." She didn't notice the way my hands trembled. She was already pulling out her phone, texting someone, probably Rami. I turned away before the humiliation could swallow me whole. I pushed through the front yard, desperate for air, desperate to vanish. That's when I heard a voice behind me. "Rough night?" I stopped. Zara stood by the gate, a cup in her hand, watching me with sharp eyes. Her presence surprised me. I hadn't even known she was here. Lila's old best friend now turned rival after a fallout everyone still whispered about. I tried to laugh it off. What gave it away? The face, or the way I'm storming off like a rejected movie character? She smirked. "Both." I shook my head. "She said I'm her backup." "Can you believe that? Her backup?" Zara's smile faded. She stepped closer, her voice low. "Then stop acting like one. You're better than being someone's second choice." The words pierced deeper than Lila's rejection, because they sounded like the truth. I looked at her, really looked. The fire in her eyes wasn't pity, it was respect, almost challenge. For the first time that night, I felt seen. Not as Lila's fool, not as a backup, but as a person. I exhaled shakily. Easier said than done. Zara shrugged, sipping her drink. "Everything worth doing is." The party noise spilled out as someone opened the door behind us. Laughter filling the night. But out here, standing across from Zara, I felt the chaos fade. Maybe it wasn't the confession I had imagined. Maybe it wasn't the ending I wanted. But something told me this was the beginning of a different story, one I hadn't expected. Chapter 2. Drawn to the rival the next morning, I told myself it was nothing. Zara had just happened to be there. She said a few words. That was it. But when I woke up, her voice replayed in my head. "You're better than being someone's second choice." By afternoon, I caved and sent her a message. Me. "Hey, thanks for last night. I needed that." Zara. "Didn't think you'd actually text." Me. "Why not?" Zara. Because you look like the type who'd crawl right back to her. I stared at the screen, my jaw tightening. She wasn't wrong. Still, I typed, maybe, but you're easy to talk to. That's how it started. One text turned into 10. 10 turned into hours of late-night conversations. One evening, I was lying on my bed, staring at the ceiling, when my phone buzzed. Answer, Zara texted. I called her. So you do voice calls? Don't push it, she replied, but her laugh softened the words. What are you doing? Nothing. Just thinking about how pathetic I looked last night. You did look pathetic, she said bluntly. Then, after a pause, but at least you were honest. That's more than most people can say. Her voice carried a mix of sarcasm and warmth. It was confusing, but comforting. A week later, we met at a small coffee shop far from school. Zara showed up in a simple hoodie, no makeup, hair tied back. Still, she carried herself like she owned the room. She slid into the booth across from me. So, backup boy, what's the plan? Don't call me that, she smirked. Touchy, I'm serious. I hate it. Good. Maybe you'll stop living like it, then. She leaned forward. Do you even know why you like her so much? I hesitated. Because she was kind to me. Once. Because she's beautiful. Because she made me feel like you weren't invisible. Zara finished. I swallowed. Yeah. Her eyes softened for the first time. That's not love. That's desperation. I shifted uncomfortably. And what would you know about it? She didn't flinch. Because I was her shadow for years. I know what it feels like to orbit someone who shines brighter. Until I realized the light wasn't real. It was just her using me to glow. I stared at her, unsure what to say. For the first time, I saw her pain, raw and unpolished. I'm sorry, I muttered. Don't be. She leaned back. Just don't make the same mistake I did. Don't waste yours chasing someone who never planned to catch you. That night, I told Ian about Zara. You're kidding, he said, dropping his fries onto the tray. Zara, Lila's mortal enemy. She's not that bad once you get to know her, he snorted. Yeah, sure. And fire isn't hot once you touch it. I'm serious. She gets it. She knows what it's like. Ian leaned closer. She knows how to play you. That's what. Dude, you're fresh off rejection and running straight into her arms. Be careful. I know what I'm doing, I said. Though the truth was, I didn't. One night, Zara and I sat on the swings at a deserted park. The cold wind bit at my cheeks. Why do you keep talking to me? I asked suddenly. She kicked at the gravel. Maybe I like broken things. That's messed up. Or maybe, she added softly, I like watching people fix themselves. I fell silent. Then she turned, her eyes catching the dim street light. Be honest with me, she said. Do you want me for me or just because she doesn't want you? The question slammed into me. My throat tightened. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. Zara's lips curved into a sad smile. Exactly what I thought. She stood, brushing off her jeans. Figure it out before you waste my time. And just like that, she walked away, leaving me frozen on the swing, the chains creaking in the wind. Her words echoed louder than Lila's ever did. Chapter 3. When Lila came back, it started with a message. Lila, hey, can we talk? I stared at my phone for 10 minutes straight. After weeks of silence, suddenly she wanted to talk. My chest tightened. Against my better judgment, I typed back, sure. We met at the cafe near campus. When I walked in, she was already there, her long hair falling over her shoulders, a half smile playing on her lips like nothing had ever happened. Hey, stranger, she said, sliding her iced latte across the table. Still mad at me? I sat down, gripping my cup. Mad? No, just confused. Her eyes softened. I missed you. I blinked. Missed me? You rejected me, Lila, then called me your backup. Do you know how humiliating that was? She sighed, stirring her drink lazily. I didn't mean it like that. I was hurt after Rami things got messy. I said something stupid. But you've always been solid. You're the one person I can count on. I clenched my jaw. Her words were sweet poison. The kind that numbed the sting just enough to make me forget it was still there. Why now? I asked quietly. She leaned closer, her perfume flooding the air between us. Because I realize I don't want to lose you. My chest thudded painfully. I hated that part of me still craved her approval. I hated that even after everything, my heart sped up just because she said she wanted me. I should have walked away. Instead, I whispered, "Okay, let's try again." That night, I called Ian. "You did what?" His voice nearly blew out my speaker. She wanted another chance. What was I supposed to do? Say no. I paced my room, running a hand through my hair. It's not that simple. I've wanted her for years. It's like a dream finally coming true. More like a nightmare. He muttered, "Bro, she used you. Twice. And you're running back like a puppy." I snapped, "You don't understand." Then I stopped, guilt flooding me. "Sorry. I don't know what I'm doing." "Exactly." Ian said, calmer now. "You're not thinking straight. Just be careful." The problem was, Zara still haunted my thoughts. Even while sitting across from Lila, laughing at her jokes. I felt the weight of Zara's question. "Do you want me for me? Or just because she doesn't want you?" I was with Lila, but my heart wasn't steady. It was split, torn between the girl I had always wanted and the girl who saw me when no one else did. A few days later, Lila and I were walking downtown when my phone buzzed. A message from Zara lit up the screen. "Zara, don't forget you promised to help me study tonight." My chest tightened. Lila peeked over my shoulder, her eyes narrowing. "Who's Zara?" "Just a friend." "A friend?" Her tone sharpened. "Funny, because she's been blowing up your phone lately." I forced a smile. "You're imagining things." But even as I said it, my thumb hovered over the keyboard, itching to reply. That night, I made an excuse to Lila and slipped away to Zara's place. She was sitting cross-legged on the floor, books scattered around her. "You're late," she said. Not looking up. "Sorry." Lila wanted to hang out. Her head snapped up. "You're back with her." I rubbed the back of my neck. "It's complicated." Zara laughed bitterly. "Complicated?" "No, it's simple. You're addicted to her approval, and you're using me as a distraction." "That's not true." I shot back. "Then what am I?" she demanded, eyes blazing. "Because I refuse to be your secret." I froze, words dying in my throat. Zara shook her head, gathering her books. "Figure out who you are, or stay her backup forever. Your choice." I walked home under the cold night sky, my stomach in knots. Lila wanted me. Zara needed the truth, and I was caught in the middle, drowning in my own lies. For the first time, I realized Ian was right. I wasn't just playing with fire, I was burning alive. Chapter 4. The double life asterisk. Every morning felt like walking a tightrope. With Lila, I smiled, listened, held her hand. With Zara, I slipped into late-night calls, quiet laughter, stolen moments. And in between them, I was a liar holding everything together with trembling hands. "Bro, you look like hell," I muttered one afternoon as we sat in the cafeteria. "I'm fine," I lied, stabbing at my fries. "No, you're not. You're juggling to grenades with the pins pulled." He leaned closer. "It's only a matter of time before one blows up in your face." I forced a grin. "Relax. I've got it under control." But deep down, I knew he was right. One evening, I was at the cafe with Zara, our heads bent over her notes. She caught me glancing at my buzzing phone. "Let me guess," she said flatly. "Wild." I swallowed. "Yeah. She wants to meet." "Of course she does." Zara leaned back, crossing her arms. "You going to run to her like always?" "I can't just ignore her." "You can," she said sharply. "You just don't want to." The tension thickened. I reached for her hand, but she pulled away. "I'm not going to be your secret. You hear me?" I exhaled, rubbing my forehead. "I don't want to lose you either." "Then prove it." Her voice cracked slightly, but she stood her ground. The next day, Lila pulled me into her car. "I saw you at the cafe yesterday," she said casually. Though her eyes were sharp, my stomach dropped. "Oh?" "Just helping Zara with some school stuff." Lila smirked. Funny. Looked like more than school stuff. She leaned closer, brushing her fingers against my arm. You wouldn't betray me like that, would you? I forced a laugh. Of course not. But even as I said it, guilt gnawed at me. The lies multiplied. I told Lila I had late classes when I was really with Zara. I told Zara I had family dinners when I was with Lila. Every excuse tangled tighter around me. One night, I sat on the swings at the park with Zara again. The silence between us felt heavier than before. You look tired, she said quietly. I am. Then let something go before it destroys you. She looked at me with eyes that saw straight through me. Why is it so hard for you to choose? I stared at the ground. Because I've wanted Lila for so long, it feels like if I let her go, I'm letting go of a dream. But when I'm with you, it feels real. Her breath caught. Then why are you still holding on to her? I had no answer. The close call came sooner than I expected. Lila wanted to try a new cafe, the same one Zara loved. My pulse spiked as I walked in with her, praying Zara wouldn't be there. For half an hour, everything seemed fine. Then the bell above the door jingled, and Zara walked in, her eyes locking onto mine instantly. My blood froze. Hey, Lila said, noticing the shift in my face. She turned and her smile dropped the moment she saw Zara. Oh, this is awkward. Zara muttered under her breath, but loud enough for Lila to hear. Lila's grip tightened on my arm. Care to explain why she's here? I stammered, searching for an excuse, but Zara beat me to it. Don't worry, she said coldly, her gaze flicking between us. I'm just leaving. Wouldn't want to ruin your perfect little date. She walked out without another word. The bell above the door ringing like a funeral bell. Lila turned back to me, suspicion burning in her eyes. What the hell was that? I forced a shaky laugh. She's just bitter. You know how she is. But my lie didn't convince even me. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, my phone silent on the nightstand. Neither girl texted me. For the first time, I wondered if I'd already lost them both. Chapter 5. The party explosion. Omar's birthday party was supposed to be low-key. At least, that's what he promised when he begged me to come. Just a few friends, chill music, nothing dramatic, he said. He lied. The living room pulsed with bass, laughter, and the smell of greasy pizza. People crowded shoulder to shoulder, cups clinking. I tried to blend into the corner, but Ian spotted me instantly. You look like a man walking into his own funeral, he said, handing me a soda. Feels like it. I muttered. He studied me. Both of them are here, aren't they? I didn't answer, because I didn't need to. Lila arrived first. She looked radiant in her red dress, gliding through the crowd like she owned the place. She kissed me on the cheek. Glad you came, she whispered, her hand slipping into mine. A knot tightened in my chest. 10 minutes later, Zara walked in. She wore black, simple but sharp. Her gaze scanning the room until it landed on me and on Lila holding my hand. Her eyes hardened. My stomach dropped. I tried to avoid disaster, weaving through the crowd to talk to Zara when Lila went to grab a drink. Why are you here? I asked in a low voice. She arched a brow. Omar invited me. Unlike you, I don't live in lies. Zara, please don't please me. She cut in, her tone sharp. Does she even know? Before I could answer, a hand clamped around my arm. Lila, what's going on? She demanded, her eyes narrowing between me and Zara. Nothing, I said quickly. Too quickly, Zara folded her arms. Go on, tell her. Tell me what? Lila's voice rose, drawing the attention of people nearby. I felt the walls closing in. It's not what you think. Oh, it's exactly what I think, Zara snapped. Her gaze burned into me. You've been stringing us both along. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Lena, always Lila's shadow, whispered something into her ear, fueling the fire. Lila's face turned crimson. Is this true? My throat locked. Answer me, she shouted, her voice slicing through the music. I looked at Zara, then at Lila, then at the crowd that had circled us like vultures. My lies had finally cornered me. Yes, I whispered. It's true. The silence that followed was deafening. Then chaos erupted. Lila shoved me back, eyes glossy with tears. You liar. You pathetic, spineless liar. Zara shook her head, her expression unreadable. I warned you. I told you I wouldn't be your secret, Zara. I reached out, but she stepped away. Don't touch me, she said coldly. The room buzzed with whispers. Phones already out to record the scene. Omar tried to step in. Guys, come on. Let's not do this here. Shut up, Omar. Lila snapped, her voice breaking. She turned back to me, trembling. Was I really that worthless to you? That you had to keep her around, too? My mouth opened, but no words came. Because the truth was, I didn't even know what I wanted anymore. Zara's voice cut through the noise. Steady but sharp. She didn't make you her backup. You made yourself one. Her words gutted me. Lila let out a bitter laugh. He deserves nothing. Not me. Not you. Not anyone. She stormed out, Lena following close behind. The front door slammed hard enough to rattle the windows. Zara stayed a second longer. Her eyes meeting mine. There was no fire this time, only disappointment. I thought maybe you could be different, she said softly. Then she turned and walked away, leaving me stranded in the center of the room as everyone stared. I stood frozen, the music resuming around me like nothing had happened. Though I knew everything had. My double life had finally collapsed, and in the wreckage, I had nothing. Not Lila, not Zara, not even myself. Chapter 6. Alone against the world. The party ended. But the whispers did in single quotes by Monday, everyone knew. My phone buzzed nonstop with screenshots, group chat messages, and mocking memes. The hallway felt longer than usual, each step echoing with stares, two-timer, backup boy, snake. The words weren't shouted, just whispered loud enough to slice through me. Ian walked beside me, silent. Finally, I snapped, say it. Say what everyone's thinking. He sighed. What do you want me to say? That you didn't screw up. Because you did. I clenched my jaw. Thanks for the support. I am supporting you, he said quietly. I'm still walking next to you, aren't I? Anyone else would have ditched you already. That shut me up. At lunch, I sat alone. Even Omar, who usually sat with everyone, avoided me like I carried a disease. Lena strolled past, smirking. Enjoy the spotlight, backup boy, she said sweetly. Loud enough for half the cafeteria to hear. Laughter followed her like perfume. I kept my eyes on my tray, pretending the food didn't taste like ash. After school, I tried calling Zara, straight to voicemail. I texted, please, just let me explain. Nothing. I sent another. I'm sorry. I was stupid. I never meant to hurt you. Still nothing. Finally, I don't want to lose you too. No reply. The silence was worse than her anger. Later that night, I got a message from an unexpected name. Rami. Heard you got burned. Welcome to the club. I stared at the screen. After a long pause, I typed, why are you texting me? Rami. Because I know what it feels like to be chewed up by Lila and spat out. Thought you could use a warning? Warning about what? I replied, Rami. She'll never stop. She feeds on control. Don't let her drag you under. I scoffed, tossing my phone aside. But his words clung to me like smoke. The next day, Lila cornered me by the lockers. Her eyes were puffy, but her tone was sharp. You embarrassed me in front of everyone, she hissed. I laughed bitterly. You embarrassed me first, remember? Calling me your backup like I wasn't even human. Her lips trembled, but she forced a smile. And yet you still came running back. What does that make you? Her words hit harder than I wanted to admit. I wanted to yell, to fight back, but all I managed was, leave me alone, Lila, she smirked. Don't worry, everyone already has. By the end of the week, even Ian kept his distance. It's not that I don't care, he said when I confronted him. But you're toxic right now. You need to figure yourself out before you drag me down with you. So I was left with empty tables, quiet hallways, and the weight of my own mistakes pressing down on my chest. One night, unable to sleep, I scrolled through my old photos. Lila's smile, Zara's laughter, memories that once felt warm now burned like open wounds. I whispered to myself, how did I let it get this far? The reflection in my dark phone screen had no answer. I thought about texting Zara again, but what good would it do? She deserved peace, not another one of my excuses, and yet I couldn't let go. I typed, you once told me I was better than being someone's second choice. I want to believe that. I want to be that. Even if it's too late for us. I didn't hit send. I just stared at the words, my thumb hovering until the screen dimmed and went black. For the first time, I realized I wasn't just alone because they left. I was alone because I had built this prison myself brick by brick, lie by lie. And now I had to live inside it. Chapter 7. Rock bottom. Silence was the worst part. Days turned into weeks, and neither Lila nor Zara spoke to me. My phone, once buzzing with notifications, was now a dead weight in my pocket. One night, desperate, I walked to Zara's house. The porch light was on. My chest tightened as I knocked. She opened the door, her expression turning from surprise to ice in seconds. What do you want? Just 5 minutes, I begged. Please. Her jaw tightened. You've had months of my time. You don't get another 5 minutes. Zara, I'm sorry. I know I screwed everything up. But she cut me off, her voice sharp but trembling. Do you even know what sorry means? You lied to both of us. You made me feel like I was a dirty secret. Do you know how humiliating that is? I swallowed hard. I didn't mean to. You did. She snapped. You just didn't care enough not to. Her words stung worse than a slap. She stepped back, hand on the door. Goodbye, she whispered, and the door slammed shut in my face. I stood there, fist clenched, the rejection colder than the night air. Back in my room, I sat on the floor surrounded by my own mess. Textbooks I hadn't opened in weeks, clothes piled on the chair, empty soda cans stacked like trophies of my self-destructs. I pressed my palms to my face. What am I doing? The answer came in the echo of Zara's voice. You just didn't care enough not to. School didn't get better. My grades slipped. Teachers noticed. A counselor called me in, asking if everything was okay. I lied, saying I was fine. But I wasn't fine. I was drowning. At lunch, I sat alone again, until Ian finally slid into the seat across from me. You look like crap, he said. Thanks. Nice to see you too. He leaned forward. You want me to be honest? I nodded weakly. You've hit rock bottom, man. You're not eating right, you're failing classes, and you walk around like a ghost. This isn't about them anymore. This is about you. I stared at him. And what if I can't fix myself? He held my gaze. Then you'll stay here, stuck in this pit, until you decide you're worth climbing out. I let out a bitter laugh. You make it sound so simple. It is simple, he said softly. Not easy, but simple. That night, I dug through my desk, looking for an old assignment. Instead, I found a folded piece of paper. My heart clenched when I saw Zara's handwriting. It was a note she'd once slipped into my book after a late-night study session. Don't let the people who hurt you decide who you become. You're more than the scars they leave behind. I read it again and again, my throat tightening. I whispered. I let her down. I let myself down. For the first time in months, I cried. Not the silent, bitter tears of anger, but the raw kind that left me gasping. I pressed the note to my chest, my whole body shaking. When the sobs finally eased, I reached for my phone. I typed a message to Ian. I need help. Seconds later, he replied, finally. Be at my place tomorrow. We're starting over. I lay back on my bed, exhausted but lighter. The mess around me hadn't disappeared. My mistakes hadn't vanished. But for the first time, I felt the faintest flicker of something. I thought I lost hope. Rock bottom wasn't the end. It was the place I had to start climbing from. Chapter 8. Choosing my path. Ian's room smelled like instant noodles and old sneakers. But that night, it felt like a lifeline. He shoved a bowl of chips at me and said, "Eat, then talk." I crunched one, staring at the carpet. "I ruined everything." "Good," he said. I frowned. "Good, yeah, because now you know what needs fixing. You hit the bottom. The only way left is up." I sighed. "I don't even know where to start." "Start small," he said. "One step at a time. Fix your grades. Join something. Prove to yourself you're not the loser everyone says you are." His words dug into me. Uncomfortable but true. The next week, I forced myself back into focus. I stayed after school with teachers, turned in assignments late but complete, and joined the debate club Ian had been nagging me about. Standing in front of people, speaking my thoughts out loud. Felt terrifying at first, but when I made my first solid argument, the applause gave me a rush I hadn't felt in months. For once, I wasn't Lila's backup or Zara's mistake. I was just me, of course. Lila noticed. She cornered me by the library, her tone sickly sweet. "So, you've been busy." "Yeah," I said, brushing past her. "I've got things to do." She grabbed my arm. "You're different lately." I looked her in the eye, steady for the first time. "I'm not your backup anymore, Lila." Her smirk faltered. "Who said you were?" "You did," I said coldly. "Every time you tossed me aside and came back when it was convenient. But not anymore." Her jaw tightened, but she didn't reply. For once, I had taken the power back. That night, I sat at my desk with Zara's old note in front of me. The words echoed in my head. "You're more than the scars they leave behind." I pulled out a blank sheet of paper and began to write. "Zara, I know I have no right to ask for your forgiveness. I lied. I failed you, and I turned you into a secret when you deserve to be someone's first choice. I can't undo that, but I can tell you the truth. I'm not the same person anymore. You were right. I let others define me, and I hurt everyone in the process. I'm trying to change now. Not for you, not for Lila, but for me. Still, if you ever read this, I want you to know one thing. You weren't just another chapter in my story. You were the moment I realized I could be more." I read the words 3 times before folding the letter. My hand shook, but my heart felt strangely calm. The next day, I slipped the envelope into Zara's locker. I didn't expect her to reply. I didn't even expect her to read it. It wasn't about getting her back, it was about letting go of the lies I'd carried. Walking away from the locker, I felt something new. Freedom. That evening, Ian called. "So, how's the new you?" I laughed softly. "Work in progress." "That's more than you could say a month ago." "Yeah," I admitted. "It feels lighter." "Good. Just don't screw it up again. Trust me," I said, smiling for the first time in a while. "I won't." That night, lying in bed, I realized something. Zara might never forgive me. Lila might always see me as her backup, but none of that mattered anymore. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't living for them. I was living for me. Chapter 9. Karma finds its way. For 3 days. Nothing. No message, no call, no glance from Zara. I told myself it was fine I hadn't written the letter expecting forgiveness. But on the 4th day, my phone buzzed with a single notification. "Zara, I read your letter. I believe you. Coffee." Just as friends. My heart hammered. Friends. Just friends. And yet it felt like someone had handed me air after months of drowning. We met at a small corner cafe. She was already there, sipping tea. No smile. No glare, just a calm look that told me this wasn't about the past, but about now. I sat across from her. "Thanks for coming." She stirred her cup slowly. "You've changed." I let out a shaky laugh. Or maybe I finally stopped pretending. For a moment, silence stretched. Then she said softly, "I don't hate you anymore." Those words loosened something in my chest. "That's more than I deserve." Zara tilted her head, watching me. "Don't get comfortable. This doesn't mean we're anything. But maybe, someday, we could be friends again. If you don't screw it up." I nodded quickly. "I won't. I promise." For the first time in months, the world didn't feel like it was collapsing. Meanwhile, Lila's world was unraveling. I heard the whispers in the halls. Her old crew was drifting away. Even Lena, her most loyal shadow, started keeping her distance. One afternoon, I overheard a group of students laughing. "Did you see Lila's post? Pathetic. She thinks she can still run the show, not when everyone knows how she plays people." The words stung not because I wanted to protect her, but because I realized this was the karma I'd been too afraid to imagine. Later that day, Lila herself approached me. Her hair was messy, her voice sharp. "Enjoying the show?" I sighed. "I'm not laughing at you." "Yeah, right. Everyone else is." She crossed her arms. "Guess it's my turn to be the joke." Her bitterness cut through me. But I didn't bite. I never wanted revenge, Lila. I just wanted honesty. She scoffed. "And you think you're some saint now? You lied too." "I know," I admitted. "That's why I stopped. That's why I'm done playing games." She stared at me for a long moment, her expression wavering. Then she muttered, "Must be nice, learning lessons while I lose everything." Before I could reply, she walked away. That night, I sat with Ian on his porch, the cool air wrapping around us. She texted me. I admitted. "Who? Lila?" "No, Sarah." He grinned. "And we had coffee. Just as friends. That's a win, man." He elbowed me. "Sometimes, just having someone willing to sit across the table from you is proof you're moving forward." I smiled faintly. Yeah, it felt real. Days turned into weeks. I focused on debate, on my studies, on keeping my promises. Zara and I exchanged occasional texts, short, cautious, but honest. She was careful, guarded, but she hadn't slammed the door shut. And Lila, she drifted through the halls like a ghost of the queen she used to be. People avoided her the way they had once avoided me. For the first time, I saw her without the crown, and I didn't feel triumph. I felt pity. One evening, I passed her sitting alone on the school steps. She looked up at me, eyes red. "Funny, isn't it?" She whispered. "I called you my backup. Now I'm the one with nobody." I swallowed, unsure what to say. Finally, I murmured, "Maybe now you understand." Her lips quivered, but she didn't reply. I walked away, not because I hated her, but because I didn't need to stay anymore. Karma had done what I never could. And for once, I didn't need revenge. I just needed peace. Asterisk Chapter 10. My own worth asterisk graduation day smelled like polished floors and fresh paper. The gym was packed, banners hanging from the rafters, and parents clapping like their cheers could carry us into the future. I sat in my row, cap tilted to low, heart pounding harder than it should. Not from nerves about walking the stage, but from everything that had led me here. "Ready?" Ian whispered beside me. "As I'll ever be." I muttered. He grinned. "Don't trip." When my name was called, I walked up, shook the principal's hand, and felt the thin sheet of paper in my palm. A diploma, proof I'd made it this far. But when I turned, I didn't look at the crowd. I looked at the people who had shaped my chaos. Zara was near the back, standing tall in her black gown, cap tucked under her arm. Our eyes met for just a second. She gave me a small nod, not a smile, not forgiveness, but acknowledgement. And somehow, that was enough. A few rows away, Lila sat slouched, her cap crooked, her once perfect posture gone. Her eyes flicked to me briefly, filled with something I couldn't quite read. Regret, maybe. But she didn't hold my gaze. She looked away first, for the first time. That didn't hurt. After the ceremony, the courtyard buzzed with laughter and hugs. Families took pictures, friends shouted goodbyes. I stood under the oak tree, diploma in hand. When Zara walked up, "Congratulations," she said softly. "You too." We stood there, the noise of the world around us fading. "Listen," I began, my voice shaky. "I don't want to make this weird, but thank you for believing I could be better, even when I wasn't." She studied me, then shrugged. "People change, or at least they try." "I am trying," I said quickly. "Not for you, not for Lila, for me." Her lips curved, just barely. "Good. That's the only reason worth doing it." Before I could say more, Ian jogged over. holding up his phone. Picture time. Come on. Stand together. Zara rolled her eyes. One picture. Don't read into it. I smiled anyway. Later, as the crowd thinned, I spotted Lila sitting alone on the bleachers. Against my better judgment, I walked over. She glanced up. Here to gloat? No, I said quietly. I'm here to say goodbye. She laughed bitterly. That easy? It wasn't easy at all, I admitted. You were everything I wanted, and that's why I lost myself chasing you. But I'm done being someone's backup. I deserve more. And so do you? Her eyes glistened. You really think I deserve more? Yes, I said honestly. But you'll never find it if you keep treating people like they're disposable. She flinched at my words, and for once, she didn't fight back. She just nodded, her voice breaking. Maybe someday I'll figure it out. I offered a small smile, then turned and walked away. For the first time, I didn't look back. That night, lying in bed, I stared at the ceiling and let the day sink in. I had loved. I had lied. I had broken and been broken. But I had also learned. I whispered to myself, I don't need to be anyone's second choice. The words felt solid, like stone. Stronger than anything Lila ever said to me. Stronger even than Zara's accusations. Because they were mine. I am my own first choice. I added, a quiet promise to myself. For the first time in a long time, I believed it.